accounting and finance management, negotiation and conflict resolution, sales and marketing, HR, project management, and so on. Despite all the challenges that my mother went through, there was one thing she always said to me. No matter what you do in life, whether you're an artist, you're a homemaker, a scientist, a businesswoman, in the end, the only thing you will regret is not taking chances. These words stayed with me. I finished high school, and I think we have some picture. Oh, not yet. That's me in a dental school. Of course, a lesser known fact about me that I am actually a dentist. I spent 5 toughest years of my life in the dental school. Having lived a very comfortable and a sheltered life in the Middle East, I was thrown in a small town in northern India. I was initially bullied by my seniors. I was condemned by a lot of my teachers as well. Every day I cried myself to sleep. I wanted to run away, but I wasn't going to give in. So I woke up every single morning like it was a brand new day and took it head on. A few months later, when we had our freshers party, I was given the title of Miss Freshers, which is like a prom in the US. The toughest years, like I said, were those 5 years when I was in the college. But that taught me a lot. It taught me not only to stand up for myself, but for others as well. When I was in my final year completing my internship, the students were faced by a fee hike by the management. They tried to talk it out, but nobody would listen. So we decided the only way to make them listen is to hit them hard. I organized a strike at the college, which was for the first time something like that had happened. The college was closed for a whole week. We had police threatening to arrest us. The management said that they were going to expel us. We got mentioned in every single local newspaper. The district magistrate, which is equivalent to a mayor, came to talk to us to back down, but we didn't give up until we got the management to reverse their decision. We all had to work 2 weeks extra, but it was a small price to pay. The best thing that happened to me when I was in my college is I met a guy at a party, fell in love instantly, got married 4 years later, and after that we traveled and we lived in fact in 6 different countries for the first 2 years. It was like a honeymoon. Finally, we settled down in Australia. Now in Australia, for me to practice as a dentist, I had to undergo very, very tough examination. So I said, well, that's what I got to do. While I was studying for those examinations, I had to actually be away from my husband because I was studying in Melbourne and we were living in Sydney. Needless to say, I passed with a great margin. But then came up a question of, do I really want to do this? I didn't. I didn't want to be a dentist anymore. It just wasn't for me. But the problem was, I didn't have any other skill. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. But with my husband's encouragement, I decided to take up a job as a trainee sales executive in a conferencing company. Everyone over there was much younger than me and had far more experience. But I worked hard. I even went to business school, studied part-time, so that I have the business acumen that I lacked. A few years later, I got another job as a sales director. Life was great. After 6 years in Australia, we decided we wanted to have a family. Just then, my husband gets an opportunity to work abroad. We decided to take the chance, and we came to Hong Kong. Well, it all seemed very good on paper, but GFC had just struck. I couldn't get any jobs. And some of the roles that I got weren't even worth me switching off my alarm. Well, then I decided that I have to do something. I started writing. A year later, I completed my book. Great. Now the challenge was getting it published. I didn't realize that it's harder to publish a book than to write it. I must have approached about 30 different publishers. I had my scripts all over the world. Finally, there was one publishing house that accepted my script and said they wanted to publish. 6 months later, my book became a bestseller. It was voted as one of the top 5 books to read when traveling. The title was Careful What You Wish For. Few years again, we had another opportunity to move, this time to Singapore. I went back to corporate life, working as head of sales for American Express and Carlson Wagonly Travel. I had to travel 10 days a month. It was great. My husband was traveling as well. We didn't have any kids. In fact, there were days that we would plan our trip so we could take a taxi together to the airport and spend some time at the lounge. We were having a great life. Friends called us the power couple. 3 years later, we adopted our dog, a golden retriever. We called him Jack Daniels, JD. This used to be my favorite drink back then. And then we adopted another dog, Kit Kat, a toy poodle.
I guess that's how our company name was.
Yes. And things were going great, but I just felt trapped in my corporate job. I just couldn't do it anymore. But the stability of a corporate job, the 6-figure salary, now that's hard to get out of. But one day I made up my mind and said, I'm going to set up my company. That's how Kit Kat Productions came into being. I set up an event management company. I put in my own money to organize the first project, which was a concert for 3,000 people with one of the top Bollywood artists called Mika Singh. For the next 4 months, I woke up every day and the first thing I would check is how many tickets have been sold. That's how tough it was. Because when it's your own money and your own throat on the line, it just gets very tough. Of course, there were days I second-guessed myself and I said, oh, what have I done? You know, it was so much easier to just wake up, get dressed and go to work. But the event was a big success, and after that came many more events. I also got appointed with Internations, which, as some of you may know, is a global expat community with over 8 million members worldwide. In Singapore alone, we have 55,000 members. I was organizing bi-monthly networking events where we used to have 200 people at each event. Business grew, and so did the team. But now, I needed a partner. Someone who complemented my strengths, but also came with their own strengths. More importantly, someone I could trust, who was as passionate about my business and to have the same set of feelings. I'd worked with a few people before, but I just couldn't pinpoint the right person. That's when I approached Shikha, who had been a dear friend, and she had been running her businesses very successfully. And the minute I spoke to her about it, she came up with all these creative ideas and next steps and everything. And I said, hold on, is that a yes? And yeah, since then it's been history. We rebranded ourselves as Kit Kat Events and Marketing because we had taken a slightly different direction to what we were doing, trying to run businesses for targeted audiences, etc. And then came another addition to the family. My daughter Sahana. There she is, cute little thing. She's 3 now. Life was going really, really well. With the business, the family, everything was great. And then my husband gets another opportunity to move. This time back to Hong Kong. And he was going to leave his corporate job to work for a startup. My first words were, honey, it's midlife crisis. Don't do it. But of course, he had been so supportive throughout my career. I supported him as well. And with 2 dogs, a baby, a helper, and 380 boxes, we moved to Hong Kong. Lucky for me, I had the support of a very good partner who said, look, I'm going to manage the business here. You go and expand. First few months were great. I was just settling in, getting used to things again. But then I started getting depressed and agitated. I had no idea where to start. I didn't know what to do. How do I expand my business? Who do I talk to? Lucky for us, because of our strong relations in Singapore, we got a few gigs over here. And then, thanks to those relationships, we got an opportunity to work with one of the top Indian network channels called ZTV. We had to expand their business in Hong Kong. We did what no other company in Hong Kong has ever done. We brought a TV show which was one of the oldest singing talent shows, Saregamapa, to Hong Kong. We selected 10 participants through rigorous auditions to sing live on TV. The show was broadcasted in 19 countries with over 1 million viewers. With the support that we got and with the success of the event, we produced another show, which is Antakshri, which is a musical game show. We had 64 participants in that show. None of those people had ever dreamt of being on TV. As I was emceeing those events as well, I got a lot more opportunities to do local events and to be on radio. And again, none of this had been possible if I didn't take the plunge. While everything was going great, we moved again, this time back to Singapore. Of course, Shikha was the happiest person to find out that we were moving. So now I shuttle between Hong Kong and Singapore, delivering events for our clients and for the community. As with most of you, my life has been full of challenges, but it also came with opportunities. And it was up to me, and only me, to make something out of it. And every time I felt that I can't go on anymore, I think back to my mother's words, when she said, in the end, you will only regret the chances you didn't take. So today, I'm proud to be in a room full of women who have dared to dream. And irrespective of the disappointments and setbacks, you are making sure that you follow your dreams. So on behalf of KitKat Events and Marketing and ZTV, I want to welcome you all to She Ventures, an initiative which empowers and celebrates the ambitions of women entrepreneurs. So welcome, and I hope you're going to have a great time for the next few hours.
Thank you, Neera.